Okay, so we are now recording. It is 6:30 on June 23rd. This is a special meeting of the board that was rescheduled from Monday due to the holiday. First item on the agenda is to make any changes. Are there any changes to be made to the agenda?
I don't know.
No.
Great. If there are no changes to be made, we'll move on to review and approval of the minutes of the June 6th meeting. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the June 6th meeting.
Great. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Great. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor of approving the minutes as written, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Great, motion carries. Next up is Public Works, Roads and Bridges. The one item on the agenda, outside of any updates Mark has, is just the letter of intent. Do you want to just describe what this is, Mark?
So the letter of intent to participate in the FY23 Municipal Roads Grants and Aid Program. It's that program that we got approved for Hill West, and we just have to send this in and say that we intend to, go and do it. So it actually has to be in by tomorrow. So they kind of sent it like, oh yeah, you want this by a certain date.
Yeah.
So that's what it is. Yeah.
Great. This is a copy of it if you want to see.
So I'm the first contact and Charlie the second contact.
This is the spot out by Charlie's place?
Yeah. Yeah.
Probably Charlie.
That's just saying we're interested and then they award us the money.
Yeah, we're not doing any more road work by myself.
No.
All right.
No.
Well, if there's no questions for Mark or any kind of concerns, then the motion would be to sign and submit the letter of intent to participate.
I'll make a motion to sign and submit the letter of intent to participate.
Great. I have a motion by Suzanne.
I probably had grant and aid program.
Yep.
To the grants and aid program, that's right.
So we have a motion to sign and submit from Suzanne. Is there a second?
A second the motion.
Great. And we have a second from Emily. Is there any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Great, motion carries. And I will do this right now so I don't forget. Was that good?
Yeah, I think it's an electronic this morning.
Yeah.
I'll get it someday.
You got? You want me to scan it and email it to you, or you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll scan an email and make sure you get it in. Yeah. Got me to lose that.
Okay. Hi, Sue. You can hear everything okay?
Yes, I can.
Okay,
Yeah.
sweet. And Roger,
Yeah.
Roger brought some great speakers, so we can actually hear you clearly tonight. So,
Okay.
yes. All right. Anything else under roads and bridges? Any other updates, Mark?
The sweeping is done. I finished that up yesterday. And we're putting the mower on the tractor so we can start mowing the sides of the road. Grading's, all the roads are in pretty good shape right now, so we're kind of going to take a little pause for grading unless we get, washout or something.
Okay.
And then I'm hauling in stone for the PSB. The plan is to start this project July 5th because they're off for that week. The town clerk is closed, so I want to get started that week. I've hired Avery with the excavator and truck, but we have to bring in material, take out some of this material, then bring in more material. We just had the material we needed, so.
Okay, great.
And so we're just hauling it into the yard right now, next week, and then we'll have it there, so when we start the project, everything will be there.
Great.
And then I've got a couple spots to dump the material, and then a couple places to pick truck turnarounds, and then Derek from Lutz has a place for us to dump materials. Because what we're doing is gonna pull off the blacktop, and then we're going down at least 6 to 8 inches, and then putting in stone, and then sure pack on top, because the under that blacktop is not very good material when they did the driveway, so we want to make a good base so that when we pave it, it'll hopefully stay for,
Okay.
you know, that's why it's kind of broken up the way it has.
Yep.
So that's the plan, to get started on that project then. So-
Okay, great.
Did we hear anything back from Northwest Waste about them putting in?
I don't think I probably should have.
Putting in what, sorry?
Like contributing to the
Oh,
cost
to
of
the
the
cost?
project
No.
because of
I don't
the-
think it's gonna happen.
Yeah, no, and I never reached out to ask him. I was gonna, now that we have the start date, I'll reach out and,
Yeah,
Right. Will that impact, like, they'll need to close for a Saturday, or how long do you?
no, I
foresee the
think
project?
we'll have it. What we're gonna do is take out sections and we'll re-put in sections, and so
yeah,
it'll still be passable.
there'll be like
Yeah.
probably a day or two where they can't deliver stuff. So if they need to move a container, we might need to coordinate that.
Yeah, when we're doing the driveway part coming in,
Yeah,
you know, but this part up here, we'll just take sections and then we'll try to we'll have to keep the fire department open too.
yeah.
And let them know.
Yep.
What we're doing.
Hopefully there'll be no interruptions to crash day.
No, we'll try not
Montgomery Saturday social hour.
to. We'll try not to. We'll try to get it smoother coming in.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah,
All right,
so that's, yeah.
great. Any other updates on roads or bridges?
No, they're in pretty good shape right now.
Okay.
We just went up 58 today, of course, has traveled so much that there's more potholes and stuff.
Yep.
Kind of fixed it back up. Wow, there's just trailer trucks and everything coming over that road now. Coming through the notch.
Really?
Oh, yeah, very big, couple big trucks come through today.
What?
Yeah,
Can they fit around that?
well, they're just barely fitting.
Oh my God, we're gonna be slugs. Have
Yeah,
to put up signs.
yeah, I know. Some of these, it's kind of iffy about them coming
Off
through.
the road up there.
Off the
Oh,
road.
really?
Yeah,
They got towed out, I had to get pulled out and got
they
some
must have
pretty
quite,
good damage.
they must have did some damage because they rubbed right against the tree.
Yeah,
And
ripped
they-
like the front and rear.
Wow.
bumper
What was it
off
that
of
went in
it.
there?
A U-Haul,
Oh, you.
Like a van or a
Oh.
trailer?
like
Or?
a moving truck.
Oh, okay.
Let's hope they opted for that extra insurance.
You must have put a
Hopefully.
hole right in the side of it because
Jeez.
they rubbed right against the trees.
They were going up
We-
around that.
I just saw pictures
Yeah.
of it.
Oh, Scott Perry called me and told me about it, so we went up and fixed it today.
Yeah. Yikes.
Yeah. So yeah, it looked like it was.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, people are adventurous.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mark, I just had a question. We had talked at one of the April meetings about,
So that was April for those signs.
yeah.
What was I supposed to get on
It
the
was
sign?
like it was the bicycle, it was the share the road signs for the school
So that
Oh yeah.
we put a.
to order and then install.
So that's what it's supposed to say. Share the road. Or road signs. I can't remember what we.
I'm gonna get you,
Send me an email with.
I'll send you
supposed to get.
an email with
I kinda
what, like a
like-
picture of what it's supposed to be. I'll get that.
Of course,
for you.
April was kind of blurry in March.
Right?
Yeah.
So, I kind of forget about that.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Cool.
Then that'll go before the water plant, where they come out, where the water building there, the pump station. Yeah,
Okay. Cool.
yeah. Then we'll just get hold of Liz and she'll
Cool. If there's nothing else for roads and bridges, we'll keep on moving. Next up is buildings and grounds. So the agenda item here is the 98 Main Street commercial appraisal quote. Before that, just a quick update. USPS, an individual from the regional office was on site today at Judy's request doing an inspection of the building.
that was a duty request.
Yeah.
Oh, it was.
And yeah, this has nothing to do with our lease renewal.
No.
Go
No.
figure, right?
No.
That would make too much sense.
It
So,
would have been nice for you about it.
well, yeah. So Judy requested it because they have continually rebuffed her around the health concerns that she's got. And so they came down to do an inspection today, and we met them down there, and I basically made it real clear to the guy that, you know, the inspection that he's looking to do with what they did a couple of years ago, which yielded nothing because they're not testing for anything. They're like looking at tiles and testing for carbon monoxide. So tried to drive it home that they need to do a more in-depth test to get the results they need to know about. And by the way, we have all those results, we can give them to them. And so anyway, I don't know what's going to come of it, other than I did hear from Judy this afternoon that when the guy left, he said, you know, he acknowledged the need to get USPS back in touch with us regarding the lease renewal and everything associated with it, including the environmental health stuff. So I'm hoping this will be like some fire under someone's ass to respond to us.
Well, when I was meeting with him a couple times, he goes, well, it doesn't look that bad in here.
Yeah.
And I said, well, you can't see it. I said, well, according to the testing we got done, it is.
Yeah.
And I said, so that's the way it is.
Yeah.
And I
You
said,
can't see
when you
through
get
the
our
walls.
testing, exactly. And I said, when you get the results from our testing, then you'll see what we need.
Yeah.
You know, so
anyway,
hopefully.
that happened today. So we'll see what comes of that. But that's just a quick update on their operations and their personnel. The appraisal quote. So if you recall, we were approached by a couple companies around purchasing the post office building. These are both requests we've had were from outfits that buy commercial space and lease it back to the post office. They buy from municipalities, they buy from private entities. That's their jam, is to buy things and lease it back to the post office. As part of that, we needed to determine a value for the building. And so I reached out to about 8 different appraisers. One I didn't hear back from, 6 either couldn't do it or don't do it anymore. And I finally did get a quote back from one of them. And the quote is for $4,500, and they could do it in August. And so the decision tonight is, do we want to spend $4,500 to get a commercial appraisal of the building so that we actually know what it's worth?
Did you ever look up what we have appraised for? That's listed.
I talked to the listers, and they basically said the value in the book is meaningless because it was done so long ago, and it's not done to the standard of a commercial appraisal.
Oh, okay.
So essentially, as I said, like, hey, could we look at the value in here? And Linda basically said you can, but it doesn't mean anything as far as what you would sell it for.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I mean, $4,500. It's not like pocket change,
But I think it's worth spending, so then we have an idea of what it's, what we're looking at, what it's worth,
I mean, if
Spend
It's
money
an
and make money.
asset we really need to know what,
asset or liability, depending on how you
Well.
look at it.
I'm looking at liability right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
I mean, it really comes down to the fact that if we are interested in continuing to look at a sale of the building, we would need to have this basically in hand. And so,
I personally feel that's the way we should look at it, is just to,
It
sell
looks
it.
like Sue has something to contribute, and I
Yeah.
feel like she knows a bit
Yeah.
about this stuff.
yeah, Sue, go ahead.
Oh, good. Okay, $4,500 sounds exorbitant. Charlie, do you think it would be worth your while just to call? I know that you called some banks, correct?
Yeah, I called TD and Community National. TD was no help at all, and Community National gave me like 6 different people right away.
Okay.
Okay, but like on any of them, I mean, and I know you didn't hear back, but I'm thinking that we need to find out what a good figure is. $4,500 sounds exorbitant. I mean, never in all the commercial loans that I did at the bank, never did anybody pay that much money for a commercial appraisal.
Okay.
Buying a commercial building.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if and I know, Charlie, you don't have a lot of time, but I'm just wondering whether, you said you didn't hear back from 6?
No. I think I had 8 names altogether. Of those 8 names, one of them never responded.
Okay,
5 of them said they couldn't do it or they don't do it anymore. And then one of them came back and said they could do it and gave us the $4,500 quote. So
Maybe.
out of the 8 people we contacted, only
Right.
one of them came back with a quote.
Yeah.
okay, so my question is, would you be comfortable or somebody else be comfortable calling the ones that said we don't do it anymore or we don't have time and just ask them, give you a ballpark on what a commercial appraisal of that building would cost?
Yeah.
Sure.
This figure sounds exorbitant. Now, maybe I've been out of it too long. But I could also reach out, Patrick Kalikas,
Yeah.
he's still a commercial loan officer, and I don't remember the name of the bank he works for. But, he might be able to give us an idea of what a commercial appraisal should
Oh,
cost.
okay, yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna see Patrick tomorrow night, but I do have Patrick's phone number if you think that you would feel comfortable reaching out to him just to ask him.
Yeah. Just email me his phone number and I'm
Okay.
happy to shoot him a
I
note.
will. And you know Patrick, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Because it just, it's your job, but I just think we need to do a little bit more.
Okay, yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not my wheelhouse or any of our wheelhouse, so
Exactly,
it's hard
exactly.
it's hard. And given that you did not get more than one quote back, we don't have anything to compare it to.
Yeah.
Right.
It does.
Maybe it'll turn out that yes, that's $4,500 is the going rate. But
Okay.
I
Can we
just, I
ask,
cannot believe it's gone up that much.
Yeah.
like, can we ask Karen, can we ask Lynn, can we ask people that we know in town are involved in real estate, like, if they have somebody that they might recommend as well? I know we reached out to the banks, but they might be another avenue if, like, the
We
bank
can, yeah. I don't know how
is
much,
just sort of a dead end. I don't know how much commercial property they
Yeah.
deal with,
Yeah.
but we can
um,
certainly do more digging.
but
Yeah.
they've gotta have somebody because it can't be that they never deal with commercial stuff.
Yeah, but the realtors rely on the banks to get the appraisals.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? So I mean, Lynn and Karen and whoever else, they might have a name, but I would think that
Right.
even if they're selling a commercial property, it's the buyer who has to go through the bank.
Okay.
So
Well, we'll try to.
I'll give you, I'll send you Patrick's phone number and his email, and because he's actively in commercial lending right now, he might be a good resource.
That's great.
Yeah.
And when you
Okay.
say it, in saying that, I can also follow back up with Community National Bank and ask the loan officer I talked to as well if this is. I hadn't thought of that, but I can follow up with her and say, hey, are we getting hosed or is this sound right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. All
Well,
right.
the appraiser I did talk to, I basically said, pencil us in for August. I got to get approval from the board, so we've got
Yeah.
time to chase it down. I wanted to get on the schedule so that we don't end up doing it
Yeah.
too late, especially since the lease is up in October.
Yeah.
I'd like to figure this out sometime in August or September.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Great.
Then I will follow up on that and bring that back for our meeting in July. And we'll talk about scheduling that at the end of the meeting. Okay, great. That's it for buildings and grounds, unless you've got anything else, Mark.
No.
No? Okay, great. Any water commission issues? Any water issues?
No. We just got read meters in on send the bills out for the CCR. Get that done fall next week.
Yep. Cool. Great. Then last up under Public Works is just the Longy Bridge Tap project. So as I was talking to Suzanne and Mark in the beginning, basically after we decided to kind of put a pin in this until we can find more funding to fill the gap on the construction estimate that we have from the TAP grant that we have secured, we reached out to Army Corps and DEC, both of whom came back and said that they're going to give us an extension on our permits, so there's no need for us to do anything at this time on their end. Chris Brunel basically said that's fine. Army Corps asked for some pictures, so I sent them a bunch of pictures just to show that things hadn't shifted and things looked okay. But it was fine, so they're okay with us leaving it in there until we can figure out how to pay for the construction.
Okay.
So that is paused for the time being until we can chase that down, and I'm still working with Linda on how to go after funding for that.
So we're looking at another year.
Probably another year.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
Well, at least what we did is holding, so
yeah,
it's protecting our road.
at least what we have in there is good.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
okay. Well, that brings us to visitors. Sue, did you have anything specific for visitors?
Well, I reached out to 3, people about the picnic table in the village green. I heard back from all 3. I told them what we wanted, told them I was looking for estimates. All I got was an estimate from one of them, and it was Tim Murphy, and it was $400. But it would be pressure treated lumber. But he said, but I would rather that someone else did it. He said, he is retired. But, so I don't know, I guess, and I never heard back from the other 2 after I told them that I needed an estimate or whatever, so, I don't know. I don't know, I guess maybe just we look at Home Depot or,
I see where the little hamburger place is now, they have a couple new picnic tables there. I wonder where they got it.
yeah, but they don't look new,
Oh,
Mark.
they don't? Oh, okay.
Oh, I don't know, because I had reached out to Abe and
Oh, okay.
about the picnic tables. I'll just do a little bit more digging, I mean,
Yeah.
Okay.
but I don't have anything other than that.
Well, the price of materials is,
I mean, $400 is ridiculous
Okay.
for a picnic table.
yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for keeping after that, Sue. All right. If there's nothing else for visitors, and I'm not seeing anyone else on the screen, we'll move on to old business. First item up here is the municipal wastewater and streetscape projects. So just a couple quick updates here. On the wastewater front, we just received yesterday the final supplements to the preliminary engineering report. So this is basically the final installment, the end of the preliminary engineering phase that we began with, which started out the whole kind of system design. There have been some substantial modifications to the system design based on what they found through the site work and kind of the on the ground, more in-depth planning. So what I'm looking to do is have John come in sometime in mid to late July to meet with the board, but also have a public meeting to kind of go over, okay, here's what we're looking at now for a system. Because it's not going to be the grinder pump forced main system that we were looking at before. They've kind of changed the system design because of cost estimates and capacity kind of targets and stuff like that. So what I'm hoping to do is get John back in here to kind of explain the system, and then at that point we can also walk through kind of like, okay, what are the next steps? What do we need to execute to move forward? What are our hold points? Where are our risks? All that kind of stuff. I will forward the PER supplements to the board. They're super large files, so I might have to do it through like John's SharePoint thing. So it might be a thing where you have to like click it and download it from the website. But anyway, I'll get those out to folks tomorrow so that folks at least can look through them and see. I also have started, we've also started kind of preliminary conversations with landowners around land purchase opportunities, because that's something that we need to kind of hammer out before moving it forward with anything. Because if that doesn't work out, then we're back to the drawing board completely.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the update there.
Have people been receptive?
Jesse, when I talked to him, was receptive, and Brent has been working or talking with Mrs. Banash about Teresa on kind of that. So haven't heard back from Brent yet on that conversation.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So so that's the story there. I'll get those in folks' hands. Any questions on the wastewater stuff? Okay. On the streetscape front, so as folks remember, we got a TAP grant to fund the engineering work for the streetscape projects. After getting that first RFP response to the design engineering back from Hoyle Tanner, which was the consultant the committee selected, we decided to narrow the scope just to the center, and basically phase the center. We'd have to go back to the village at some point in the future if we wanted to do work there. So Hoyle Tanner came back with a modified RFP response to narrow the engineering work to the center with a revised cost estimate. We just got that back this week. The committee's going to review that and get a response back to them for next week. My anticipation is that that will then start to move forward.
Was that I think they estimated what $500,000 for that?
The initial,
I'm just wondering if that's in the ballpark of what they.
the initial streetscape engineering was up around $500,000. I'm sorry, 800,000. It was closer to $1 million for the initial work.
That's with the village.
No, for everything combined. I want to say for everything combined, the engineering work was like 800 and something thousand.
Okay.
I don't have that.
Was that originally when they were doing the village too?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So that was the
Now that's
engineering
taken out.
work
Okay.
for everything.
And that's why we had to scale back because.
Yeah, that's why we said basically like, hey, we can't
Yeah.
afford that.
Okay.
The
I know. I just looked at this one quick. The one they just sent us, and I think it was 500,000.
yeah, 530,000 is the revised estimate for all the engineering work, focusing just on the center. So the committee will get responses back into Linda, and we will make a decision on how to move forward with that.
So the center will be from the rec center to 242 and 180.
Yeah. So the engineering work would be for the entire center.
Okay.
And through that process, we would also then determine like what are we going to do with the intersection of 118 and 242. And we have these preliminary things, but like none of that is set in stone. The final engineering work would basically get us to that. So it's going to include public meetings and landowner conversations, and there's money budgeted into the engineering work for.
Reclassified.
Yeah, so there's money budgeted in for public meetings, abutter meetings, all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So
Because there's a lot of butters there.
yeah, so that's happening next. On the construction funding,
I see that's next week.
Linda wants the responses in for next week, so we can get response back to.
So we look over this and then we get response. Okay.
Yeah. So what Linda emailed the committee today on was basically look this over, get back to me with any questions, etc. Notes on the RFP. Peter Pochop from V-Trans already sent some comments back.
Yeah, I saw that.
I looked them over. They
Saw
weren't
that part.
nothing crazy.
Yeah.
So we'll get those back, and then that's the decision. Then would be to accept it and move forward with the work. So
Okay.
that's the engineering part of that work. As far as the construction money goes, if folks remember, we did submit an application to NBRC, Northern Border Regional Commission, asking for $1 million to fund the Gateway project. That's what we're calling it, which is basically the rec center up through River Street, parking, connecting sidewalks from the rec center up to Main Street. We should know in August, I think, whether or not we got funding for that.
Okay.
This does trigger an interesting conversation just around we're gonna have to start thinking a little bit harder around ARPA funding, because we do have the $359,000 that we need to figure out how to deploy. We've had some conversations around that. What I'm hoping to do is at our next meeting in July is to dedicate some time to looking over our list and playing with some numbers to kind of see where things are coming in, because we've got some match requirements for grants, some of which we budgeted for in the actual municipal budget, some of which we didn't. We've got the PSB renovation work, we've got the paving work, which we also did budget for in the municipal budget. So there's some things here that we can kind of slide in and out based on what we're seeing, what we might need. But that's going to be kind of a point that we're going to have to make a decision around earmarking some of those funds specifically for certain projects. So that's the update there. And I'm not saying that we're going to put ARPA funds necessarily into streetscape and wastewater work. It's more just like with all of our different projects moving forward, I think it's time to step back and take a look at the whole picture and just see where this money is best deployed to leverage other monies. So that's the update on the wastewater and streetscape work. Again, the next thing with the board would be in July, trying to get John up to do a meeting with the board and the public to go over this last supplement to the PER and kind of get everybody up to speed on kind of what's next.
Yeah.
Any follow-up questions for that? Okay, if not, the next item on the agenda is the building use policy. And I apologize, I have not picked this back up since our last meeting, and I didn't know if were you gonna try to take a stab?
She did actually, Liz, she emailed a version that has like
Oh, Liz
a
did.
different rate breakdown.
Yeah,
And,
yeah, I saw that.
Oh, okay. Let me go, if folks are cool waiting a second, I can go print
Yeah.
this off.
Yeah.
Sorry, for some reason I didn't connect the dots onto what that was about.
Emily,
Yes.
the people love the tomato plants.
Oh, good.
But so many of them said, what kind is it?
Oh.
And I said, they're red. I didn't know what kind they were.
That's excellent. They are red. I actually don't know what kind they were either after planting.
I said, I don't know whether they're big or little or whatever. I said, but plant it and see. But they loved it and they
The
took
surprise will be.
Perfect. Tell them just to be adventurous, Sue. That's
Yeah,
great.
Exactly,
Yeah. Yeah,
exactly. So thank you again.
Thank you.
yeah.
Okay, so Liz has offered a proposed rate structure based on the conversation that we had last time. And so what Liz wrote was essentially, please take a moment to see the attached fee schedule as it relates to the building policy for review at your next meeting. I have made some proposed revisions based on the discussion from the select board meeting on Monday. The concern raised about events wherein folks would be charged to attend a class or event have been addressed, as well as a potential pricing scale that I believe would cover any cleaning above the normal usage while still making this an affordable option for community members to actually benefit from being able to use the space.
Mhm.
So, looks like what she's outlining here is a public event at the PSB conference room, open to all, would not be charged.
Mhm.
A private business meeting, not town related, would be $25. A private event, not open to the general public, would be $30. Town hall, public event, open to all, no charge, is free. A private event, not open to the general public, would be $100. Classes or events with admission, a day rate per day would be $40. A 3-week schedule, so one time a week for 3 weeks is $60. 6-week schedule, so one time a week for 6 weeks would be $80. She adds that a rental usage agreement is required for all event classes. Fees are due in total upon signing, and then talks about key pickup arrangements.
Mhm. That looks reasonable. Yeah.
The only thing that I could think of was something like public event open to all with a charge, like a prom.
I asked her about that. I emailed her back and asked her where that would fall, and she said it would be an event with admission. So it would be like a day, it would be like a $40 charge.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Classes or events with admission.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I missed that
Yeah.
or events part.
Yeah,
I
me
looked
too.
at it quick
Yeah.
too, and I was like, well, that
That'd be
doesn't.
40,
Yeah,
Okay.
okay, yeah,
yeah.
so that
Take that
addresses that.
Okay, any other comments or any other discussion on what Liz has presented?
That was pretty much what the
Yeah.
hold up was just see what fees they
I think this seems really reasonable for people that want to have some ongoing, like an ongoing space to use that wouldn't be like too much.
Yeah.
Cool. So I guess the motion would be to adopt the revised fee schedule for the PSB conference room in Town Hall. And then I think the other action that we were looking at was removing the appendix for organizations.
Yeah.
Can we make that motion at once?
Yeah,
So I would make the motion to adopt the new fee schedule as proposed, and presented here on what looks like it will be page 6, and to eliminate the previously printed appendix that listed the organizations that could use the spaces.
Great. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Great. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Great. Motion carries. That was good. Thanks for catching that. I totally somehow missed that email from her, and I looked at this earlier and I was like, we never did that between last time and today. All right, sweet. I will get that back to Liz.
There you go, something get done.
Yeah. Woo! This next one is one where, unfortunately, I think Linda kept the hard copy of the form, and I don't have digital copies, so I couldn't print one off. But basically, Liz basically wrote up a standardized dog complaint form that basically has all the information that we need. So rather than having a complaint come in, which is kind of it could be anything from one sentence to a 4-page letter covering a litany of things. The complaint summarizes it very clearly.
Yeah.
So I passed it off to Linda, who is our now dog officer, and asked her to review it and said, hey, could you get back to us with any comments or revisions to this? She got back to me a couple days ago and said, it looks fine, no comments or revisions, I'm happy with it. So tonight we can either put a pin in this and bring it back and we can all review it together, or if the board is comfortable, the board can just authorize the administrative revision and use of the dog complaint form per the dog officer.
You'd rather just look at,
Yep.
have it here and just do it.
That's fine. I'm totally cool doing that, and I apologize for not having that hard copy. I thought it was going to be in our box, but I think Linda took it home.
Oh, okay.
So, all right. If that's cool, if everyone's okay, we'll table that and bring back the hard copy.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Can't take that out.
That's fine. It should be an easy one to deal with. And again, I apologize for not having that and being ready for tonight. New business, town officer, copier lease renewal. So our lease is up with Canon for our current copier. In an effort to see what other options are out there, Aaron reached out to the Office Systems of Vermont, and we obtained a quote from their company to compare with Canon. There's a copy of the quote here if you want to look at it and circulate it.
So Canon is one we currently.
Yeah, Canons we currently have. After looking over the options, Aaron and Liz both agree that switching companies for the next lease would save on the per page fee and gets more contracted monthly prints than what Canon offers, and it's a better machine with better maintenance, and it's a Vermont-based company. Basically, right now, the total current costs with Canon, we're paying $182.60 for prints covering 2,000 black and white, 200 color. This would be $177.50 for 2,500 black and white and 300 color.
Yeah.
So we're basically seeing a reduction in cost of about $5, but we're getting 500 additional black and white copies and 100 additional color copies.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Plus, we're going with a Vermont-based company, which offers better service because they're local.
Mm-hmm.
Any questions or thoughts?
That sounds reasonable.
Yeah.
That's fine if that's what they want to do. I have a lot of experience swearing at these Kyocera machines. They're not fast.
Kyocera machines?
Yeah, that's what this is.
Yeah.
Oh.
So do you want to wait and chat? Is there a date on top of that? Good until?
Dated June 1st, valid for 30 days.
June 1st to July 1st.
When is the Canon lease up?
I don't know
Okay.
exactly when.
It's up to,
If you have
I'll support whatever they want to
They
do.
might
We
not
have
realize.
a bunch of these machines at school, and they reliably need to be like messed around with on a daily basis.
Okay,
Oh,
well, if that's the case, then perhaps.
I mean, I've learned a lot about how to take them apart and put
Yeah.
them back together.
Would you, I mean, that gives me a little bit of pause.
I can touch base with them about it, and also this machine, I can tell that this is a very comparable machine to two of them that we have at school, and they're pretty slow.
Oh, yeah.
So like if you're trying to print something in a hurry, you're not gonna be a fan favorite of that.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay,
So given the deadline on that, can we make a motion that's like authorizes the whichever amount Liz and Aaron or at the office?
yeah, I mean, we could just authorize a renewal at a monthly rate not to exceed the Canon cost here, and authorize Liz and Aaron to execute that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
that way if they decide to go with it, they can still meet the deadline on the instrument.
Okay, so the motion would be to authorize Liz and Aaron to execute agreement not to exceed $182.60 per month, covering 2,000 black and white and 200 color. I don't know if that's a good motion because it would not exceed 2,000 black and white and not 200 color, but the
Which is
OSV
okay.
exceeds that, so. I mean, we could just authorize Liz and Aaron to execute the agreement based
Yeah,
on
Based on a
Yeah.
price,
their.
not to exceed a certain price.
Yeah, but how would we phrase that? Because the price is not to exceed $182.60 a month. Could you
Based
just
on
say
the
that?
chosen
Based on-
contract or the selected contract?
Based on the selected
Okay.
Terms of
copier.
the selected contract?
Yeah, and just leave the terms. Okay, so the motion is to authorize Liz and Aaron to execute the agreement not to exceed $182.60 a month per
Under the terms of the selected contract.
in the terms of selected contract. Okay, so the motion is to authorize Liz and Aaron to execute the agreement not to exceed $182.60 a month under the terms of the selected contract. So we're gonna give them basically latitude to pick one. We're gonna cap it at $182.60, meaning they can take the Canon one, but they're also allowed to take OSV based on the feedback from Emily. Sounds good?
Yeah,
All right, so who's gonna make that motion?
I'll make that motion.
Great. Is there a second?
Second it,
Great.
as long as you don't have to say it.
All right, all those in favor, or any discussion on the motion? All right, hearing no discussion, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Great, motion carries. And do you want to follow up with Aaron? And
I will touch base with Aaron
Okay.
tomorrow.
Cool. All right, next up is Employee Personnel Handbook. This is just an administrative holiday update. Section 19 of the Employee Personnel Handbook, holiday leave. It needs to be amended to have the new federal holiday listed. This is the Juneteenth holiday, June 19th. This year it fell on a Sunday, so the observance was Monday. So we need to make a motion to add it to the handbook and also approve a clerical update to allow for the retroactive payment of the vacation day for the town staff this past Monday. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So,
This would
again,
be two separate motions, probably.
we can just do it all on. So the motion is to vote to add the holiday to the employee handbook and do the administrative update to approve retroactive payment for Aaron to add it to the next payroll cycle for the Monday holiday for 2022. Does that sound good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Who would like to make the motion?
I would like to make that motion as you wrote it down.
Great. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Great. Probably good if you abstain from this one.
Yeah, I was
Okay,
planning on it.
great. Any discussion on the motion?
I was planning on it.
Hearing no discussion, we will vote. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
I
Aye.
I will abstain.
Mark abstains. No objections. Motion carries. Great. So I'll get that to Aaron and we'll add that. For the moment, I'd like to pass over item C and just hit the overweight truck permit real quick,
Oh, okay.
just so we can get that done. The only one we've got is Spalding Construction.
Okay. Yeah. So I'll make a motion to approve the overweight truck permit for Spalding Construction Incorporated.
Great. Is there a second?
a second.
Seconded by Suzanne. Is there any discussion? Hearing no discussion, we'll vote. All those in favor of approving the Spalding Construction overweight truck permit, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Great, motion carries. So this item, that takes us through our agenda. So the only other item on here is the personnel contract renewals. So all of our contracts now are pegged to a July 1st renewal date to cycle with the fiscal year. So we're coming into that period. So my hope tonight was to not necessarily make any decisions unless we want to, but to kind of tee up kind of what we're looking at with the different departments and specifically talk about the Public Works Department. Because this is handling contract renewals, it is something that falls under the ability to move into executive session, since a public discussion of the contract renewal would put one party or other at a significant disadvantage. So that's under 1 VSA 313 1A contracts. So if we want, we can move into executive session at this time. Is there a motion to move into executive session?
I'll make the motion to move into executive session.
Great. Is there a second?
A second.
Okay, good night, everybody.
Bye.
Bye,
Sue.
Sue.
Bye.
All those in favor of moving into executive session, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I'm trying to get out of here, okay.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, so we are now in executive session at 7:18 p.m. I'm going to pause the recording